Good evening. I'm Kimberly Edwards with cookingwithkimberly.com, and I'm here this evening. I was eating some watermelon I had sliced up and was sitting here thinking why we don't ever make watermelon rind pickles. I hear a lot of people do that and like it or whatever, and so I asked my mother about them because she told me stories about her parents making them on the farm when she was little. And I said, why don't you ever make them? Did you like them? She said, no, I didn't like them. They were way too vinegary. They just were kind of neither here nor there. So she's never made them. That's, I guess, why I've never had them. So I sat and I pondered that dilemma for a little while and thought, how can I make them tasty, not as vinegary, and something that might be appealing? And what I thought of was how my mom pickles. She cans pears and peaches, and she even does pickled apples and crab apples and stuff like that. So I'm kind of going off that vibe, but even cooler. So I'm winging this again, back in my brain. Y'all can learn a little something about substitution and learning how to do things in your kitchen. So basically what I did was I sliced that watermelon up into quarters. I peeled the skin off, made sure you wash it first. Peeled the skin off, then I sliced the flesh out, which is what I ate, leaving me with the white rind, right? Well, in this particular watermelon that I used, it's a baby watermelon, so the rind was really, really thin. I wasn't complaining because there was lots of flesh to eat, but there's not much. So what I did was I did about 1/2-inch slices, matchstick slices. There's a couple are going to be odd shaped. And I sliced the entire thing up like that. I also sliced up 1/2 of an English cucumber, slices, nice and thin. I sliced up 1 whole lemon, very thin slices, and about 1/2 cup of ginger. I even left the skin on. I made sure I washed it, scrubbed it, and then I sliced it up into little medallions. So now I'm going to show you what I've done. I took 2 clean mason jars. You can use 2 1-quarts, but this is what the fastest thing I could find. I put a little bit of the spices that you'll see in this recipe, the ingredients. I have allspice berries, I have some peppercorns, I have cloves, I have a little chili flake, cardamom pods, I have cinnamon sticks, and that's pretty much what's in there. And then I just layered them and mixed them all together. So you see, here's the watermelon rind, here's some cucumber, there's a lemon, there's ginger in there, and then all the spices at the bottom. Okay, so that's what's going to happen in your jar, and that's what I've already done. Now, I'm preparing the vinegar liquid, and instead of something that's like the pickling vinegar, which is really, really vinegary, even more so than white vinegar, you know how potent that stuff is. So I'm not going to use either one of those. And what I thought of using was using some flavored vinegar, which you could use probably a red wine vinegar, even a raspberry vinegar, or balsamic could possibly work, but it's going to change the color of your pickles. I kind of want to keep them a little bit bright if I can. So what I've done, what I figured out was funny. We actually bought this vinegar, which we thought was maple syrup. As you know, I love maple syrup. But we bought this vinegar. It doesn't say vinegar on it, except for the fact that we wrote it on there. So it just says maple syrup. And we actually tried it on our crepes one day, and it was vinegar. So we didn't know what to do with this maple vinegar thing. It's been sitting in our pantry for a while. So I looked at this today, and I figured, well, it doesn't really taste really maple syrupy, but it's not really potent white vinegar either. So this would be perfect, and I can use it up. So that's what I'm doing. 4 cups of vinegar. I'm going to bring you over to my stove now and show you what I'm doing. How about that? Okay. All right. Here I am. In this large sauce pot, what I have done is I have 4 cups of that maple syrup vinegar, but you can use other vinegars as well. It'll be fine. Okay. And I am going to put about 1/3 cup of maraschino cherry juice. How tasty is that? I used the rest of the maraschinos. I only had like 4, but I sliced them up. I put them in the jar with the spices. Now the juice, I'm also going to put in here. It's going to sweeten it up a little bit and make it a pretty color. Bam, in there. It's on high heat right now, as I'm trying to reduce it quickly, but I'm moving fast. So here in goes my cardamom pods. I put some of the spices in there, like a couple pinches in each of the jars. The rest is going to go into this liquid. There's the peppercorns, the cloves, the chili flakes, the cardamom pods, the allspice berries, and the cinnamon sticks. At the end, I'm going to put 2 cinnamon sticks in each of the jars. But right now, I'm going to let it soak in here. Bam. As well as as a pinch of salt. Pinch. I'm also going to add sugars. So I'm going to add white sugar and brown sugar. Let me get it out of here. I forgot to get it out. That's what happens in your kitchen, right? I'm going to use 1 3/4 cup of brown and 1 3/4 cup of white sugar. And I am going to put it inside the pot so that it dissolves. I want it to be sweetish. I want it to be like the pickled crab apples or something like that that I remember eating as a kid. So here we go. We had a brown sugar incident where the bag broke. That's okay. You just go with it. There's 3/4 cup. Another 1/2 cup. I know this has happened to you, so don't act like it hasn't, everybody. There's the other half. Okay? There's the brown sugar. So here comes the white sugar. There's the 3/4. Bam. 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 And just a little bit more because I missed it. There we go. All right. We are going to stir this and allow it to reduce slightly. Make sure that the sugars all dissolve and the spices get a chance to marinate in there. Again, we're on high heat just because I'm trying to move quickly, but if you do it at home, you're probably going to want to put it on like medium-high heat-ish. We're going to let that go. This is what it looks like. I'm going to show you. That's what it looks like. Okay. So what you will need for the next step. I want to put the liquid in these jars while it's hot. Okay. So I've got the jars, and this is a typical tool used for canning. It goes on a wide mouth, on a small mouth, and it just allows you to pour stuff in without making a big mess. It's like a funnel. I also have a ladle, so I can scoop it in, and I can do it in a clean manner that's not going to cause a big problem and spill everywhere and be all terrible. I also have a heat-proof surface, a cutting board that pulls out of my counter, and I'm going to put the hot mess on there so that nothing gets wrecked. I'm going to show you just 1 second. Okay, this is back up to boiling. And for speed purposes, I'm going to show you now. All right. Once you put the liquid over top of these jars, you are going to put these with a clean lid into the refrigerator overnight. I would let these sit overnight. I'm hoping that it'll be pickled enough by tomorrow to eat. That's why they're quick watermelon rind pickles. There goes one of my cinnamon sticks. Don't worry about the other spices. They can go in. I also had a couple not cardamom pods, coriander seeds that I forgot to tell you about that are in there. See, it's just going to cover everything. All right. That looks pretty nice. Fill it. Make sure everything's covered. Nothing should be uncovered. Let's just say that. There's one jar. I'm just going to show you now what it's going to be like. I'm going to put the lid on now because as it cools, it's going to suck in, right? The air is going to cool down and condense and pull this lid in. It's going to seal it. very much so. Okay, so that's basically the pickles. I can't show you the finished product because this is the first time I've made it. So we're crossing our fingers. This is what it looks like. It looks kind of pretty, right? You're gonna eat these pickles. You can eat the cucumbers. You can probably even eat the ginger and stuff like that. And what I would suggest doing with them is either eat them by themselves. You can eat them with sandwiches. You can put them in salads. You can chop them up, put them as relish or in chutneys or in a tartar sauce. That would be really cool. It'd be a really interesting, a different way. Anything you would really do with pickles. Anything vinegary or tart that you want to add to maybe noodle salad or something like that. Anyway, so there's my watermelon rind pickles, and I hope they work out, and I hope my mom likes them more than she liked the pickles she grew up with. Let me know how they turn out for you. Try and make them. Experiment. Use different spices. Use something else. Do something else. Just make it more fun in the kitchen. Make sure you tune in to Cooking with Kimberly on YouTube. That's youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. Follow me on Twitter at cookingwithkime, capital E. Go to facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. That's the fan page. Also, you might see I'm wearing a Sizz Up shirt today. Sizz Up is actually a drink website. I'm also a co-author over there. And go check out some of my cool drink recipes I have over there. If you go to the website, sizzup.com, SIZZUP.com, and do a search at the top right, put Kimberly Edwards, you'll see all of my recipes will pop up that I have on there. So shout out to Sizz Up. Make sure you tune in all the time, daily hopefully, cookingwithkimberly.com. I'm Kimberly Edwards. Have a wonderful night. Ciao.